Hey, PS, great. The last digit of your like on this video is someone from the meme background, and the last digit of your subscription to my channel will show your subject from the meme background. So come down right now, subscribe and like. Look at the screen, pay attention to the last digit of your like and your subscription. And write someone from chalk background in the comments. It's simple, if your like is the 8th, and the last digit of the subscription is number 5, then you are a lemon with a cactus. Show your imagination and enjoy your viewing. Great, dear friends, you fed Fonk. In this video, you and I will talk about things that will never be added to the past playground. But in any case, this is in my opinion. There are no proofs for this, because it's just my guesses and reflections. You shouldn't hate me for this in the comments just because I allow myself to reflect. In general, before the start of the video, I would like to say a huge thank you to these guys for what they got into my video. If you want to get into my next video, then you just need to subscribe to the channel, put a like, write a top comment from 3 words or more. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the cart, and where is the link? A link in the description. In general, I won't be on your time. Enjoy your viewing. Well, there is a lot of talk about this right now. In general, everyone says that multiplayer may be added. And I want to answer you just right away that there will be no multiplayer. Think for yourself, how do you imagine it? Here you are sitting on a map like this, playing and decided to call a friend like this. And you start interacting with the Melons at the same time. That is, how do you imagine it? That is, in fact, you parked the car and somehow the invisible air cleans your car. In general, you probably get my point. And it's just at least strange and illogical. And it is practically impossible to implement this in principle. It is possible and possible. Such a tautology is obtained with a play on words, but in fact it is not necessary. You will ruin each other's game just with this multiplayer. Therefore, there will definitely be no multiplayer. So far, I don't even see an approximate vector and the nearest way to implement multiplayer. Those who agree with me write in the comments, but those who disagree, I ask you to argue your point of view. It will be very interesting for me to see the other sides of the coin, and maybe someone still thinks differently. Well, the next thing that will never add a cute background is, of course, transport. Think for yourself, transport will never be added simply because there is a separate category of mechanism that adds some categories of things and with which we can create our own custom transport. That is, in fact, if they add their own transport as a separate type, then we will no longer need to create our own personal transport as a custom piece. In general, the very idea of the game will be killed, that is, and in principle it is not necessary. I believe that transport is the thing that will never be added, and good. Also, most likely, censored content will never be added. More precisely, not censored content. It's just because the game has as many as 12+ age restrictions, which is not bad and good, because you mock Melon as soon as you want. And if you add some obscene content to this chalk playground, then the exact game will get 18+, which will simply kill all the ratings. And nobody needs it. Neither the developers nor the users of the game itself. Also, no more new characters will ever be added simply because the developers themselves said so. Well, think about it, they added a character editor and such. It is unlikely that they will think about adding a new character, just because it's not necessary. After all, there will simply be no need for this function in the editor of the character itself. That is, now players can create any character themselves, although for me it would be nice to add a couple of more interesting such characters just to dilute the diversity of the already initial background. And then you can't create anything at all on Batty's iPhone. Therefore, on an iPhone it's just a need to create new characters, and there is no such button there. In general, but so far the developers have stated that this will not happen. I don't know, though. We will see. I also saw a lot of concepts, or rather a lot of videos with this concept about adding a new submarine. As for me, this is nonsense. The submarine will never be, as I said earlier, no transport. Neither underwater, nor flood, nor above ground. Any kind of transport will definitely never be a melon, just because there is a transport editor. That is, blocks in general, there are mechanisms just for you to create this transport yourself. Why do you need a new transport if you can create it yourself? In general, something like this. This is definitely not going to happen, and this is 100% nonsense. And most likely, as I think, there will never be a new weapon added to the weapons category again, just because there is a weapon editor and, in principle, there is no need to create new weapons now. Only if it's super interesting, some kind of unique that you can't create with your own hands. In general, this will definitely not happen, and it seems that the developers themselves even reported about it, although this is not an exact fact I heard somewhere, and maybe I just wrote nonsense that doesn't matter. In general, the trick is that there is a weapon editor, respectively, and weapons that will be created by the developers themselves will never get into the game again. In general, something like this. I have such thoughts right now about the chalk round at this time. This is where my video comes to an end. Thank you all for watching, good luck to everyone, bye to everyone. And I remember, my friend, as always, I'll see you one of these days.